So my name is Charlie Maris. I'm the chair of the Hempfield Athletic Hall of Fame in class of 73 at Hempfield. And I think it is great to see everyone meeting with old friends that were athletes at Hempfield. You can feel the love, and you can feel the great reminiscing of seeing old friends. But I want to welcome everyone, the inductees, any members of our Hall of Fame committee, family and friends, former inductees to the Hall of Fame. We have some from our Hempfield administration here, and we're here to celebrate. This is going to be a great night. It has been a great turnout. Before we get started, I want to recognize a few people. If there's anybody here that's a member of the Hall of Fame committee, if they please stand. And if there's any former inductees to the Hall of Fame, also please stand. I did want to mention that Mr. Landis, our athletic director, is promoting the Hall of Fame not only with the plaques, who many of you saw in the hallway, but they're promoting that digitally now, and I believe they stream it for our kids to see, because I think that's very inspiring for our kids to see Hall of Fame athletes. We are also pursuing a modernization of the high school, a hybrid, improving the Buchanan wing and eliminating the Franklin wing, and we look to promote the Hall of Fame even more when that new building happens. Also want to thank Jim Albright. He's a member of the committee who does a lot of work for the committee, handling nomination forms. He's not able to be here today, but he's done a lot for the committee. And last but not least, I want to recognize Jeff Bradley, wherever he's sitting. If he would please stand. Stand, Jeff. Jeff got this whole thing started 20 years ago. This is the 20th inauguration of the Hall of Fame ceremony. I'll now give Karen Hall a chance to say a couple remarks, and then followed by Ryan Landis, our athletic director.
Good evening. On behalf of the Hempfield School District, it is my honor to welcome you to the 20th Annual Black Knight Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony. Tonight we celebrate not only 2 decades of this tradition, but also the remarkable accomplishments, memories, and legacies of the athletes, coaches, and contributors who have left their mark on Hempfield athletics. The Hall of Fame serves as more than just a recognition of wins, records, and championships. It is a testament to the perseverance, teamwork, discipline, and spirit that define what it means to be a Black Knight. Each inductee embodies these values and continues to inspire current and future generations of student athletes. We are grateful to the families, friends, teammates, and supporters who join us tonight to honor this year's class. Your presence reminds us that behind every athlete's success stands a strong community. As we reflect on 20 years of celebrating excellence, let us also look ahead to the next 20, knowing that the stories we honor tonight will continue to shape the pride, tradition, and excellence of Hempfield athletics. Congratulations to all of our inductees, and thank you for joining us as we celebrate their incredible achievements.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Ryan Landis, the athletic director. I'm extremely excited for tonight for a variety of reasons. The Hall of Fame, as you can see, this is our mini-thon. We're trying to really re-kick that into gear. This is a childhood cancer awareness night. So if you're wondering why I have this shirt on, it'll make more sense when you get to the field, those of you who are going, and you'll see the coaches and the student sections of both schools wearing this as we're trying to really raise money for that. And then anytime you play Manheim Township in a football game, it's a natural excitement, and it's going to be quite a crowd. I'm trying to speak as long as I can so the sun goes down because it's a little warm out there, but no, we're really excited. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees, and I don't mean to slight any of them. I am going to single out the 2 teams for a moment before I pass this on to the people you're really here to listen to. The tennis team just to make some connections. I was the athletic director at Warwick for 9 years. This is my 4th year here. I went to Warwick, and Coach Evans, Whit Evans, was the middle school guidance counselor when I was a middle school student there. So if you have any concerns with me as an athletic director, it falls back to him. So it is absolutely great to see him here. And then the basketball team, that year was the year I was hired to be the head basketball coach at Warwick at the age of 23 years old. I did not apply for that position. I did not want that position. They talked me into it. The position was open around this time, and they said, "Can you please, step in and take care of this?" And I remember preparing for this Hempfield team, and I joke that, and I don't mean to slight the seriousness of PTSD, but I often say that team gave me an athletic version of PTSD. We prepared for that game, and you as a coach do your best to prepare your team, and sometimes that looks differently than other ways. And I remember we spent a lot of time watching tape of Coach Goodling's team that year, and we put a scouting report together, but I remember saying to my staff, "We are not showing these players a second of this team's video. We're going to just go in cold because we don't need them to see a 6'7" player who can shoot blindfold better than anyone on our court." I remember I was just kind of glad, the silver lining, we weren't good enough to have John Wilson have to stop someone. So, but the other point with that year was, I remember after I think you beat us the second time, I remember saying to someone, "The good news is we'll never have to see this team again." 27 years later, I'm inducting you into the Hall of Fame. So God does have quite the sense of humor. Anyway, the last thing I want to say is this is an incredibly exciting time for Hempfield. Over the next 3-4 years, those that are not from around this area right now, and even those that are, you're going to start to see some amazing things happen in our school district. You're going to start to see, in addition to the building at the high school, we're open by next year. You'll see our student section will be in the end zone. The press box will be updated. A field house is coming. We have a new basketball arena that is modeled like Manheim Township's, with the capacity of one more than them. There's partial truth to that. But anyway, and my commitment to that is when we have these things, we're going to continue to look for ways to remember your legacy. And as Charles said, one of those is with the new gymnasium in a few years or whatever. I've already been laying the groundwork. We're going to go to a really upscale digital media hall of fame in the lobby area and a lot of other different things. So those that are around this area, I think you'll get to really enjoy it. Some of you may have children that are coming through or grandchildren. If you're not in the area, maybe you can come back every year. I think you're going to come back and you're going to start to see things and say, this place is really looking pretty special around here. So, and it is an honor to serve in this role and get to be a front seat to that. That said, as I had to say last year, as much as I enjoy this, the intricacies of a Friday night football game do not allow me to stay any longer right now. I'm going to head over there and get everything ready to go. For those of you going to the football game, I'll see you at halftime, and congratulations again.
So we're gonna go in order of your booklet that you've got, your program. And our first award winner is Jude Bavernchak, wrestling coach. And Dan Forey will be talking about him.
Good evening. I'd like to introduce Jude Bavernchak. Jude is the son of James and the late Dolores Bavernchak. He went to Penn Manor High School. I first became acquainted with Jude when he was a 98-pound wrestler at Penn Manor. He's now a member of the Penn Manor Hall of Fame. In 1985, while I was on the school board, Donald Bissinger came to me one day and said, "We're hiring this young man by the name of Jude Bervinchek. Jude retired from coaching in 2017. He had a record of 277 wins, 178 losses over his 25-year varsity wrestling career at Hempfield. One of the first years, excuse me, that Jude coached, he had the unfortunate thing of wrestling Dallastown, which at that time was probably the best wrestling high school in District 3. And during this meet, perfect score was 72-0. Well, Jude lost 72-0 -1. At that time, they had a rule. If you got off your seat, they deducted 1 team point. Notice the picture of Jude? And things did change after that. Okay, now, during his time, he won 277, lost 178. He had 5 Section 1 titles, 4 Lancaster-Lebanon League titles. He participated, or his teams participated, in 10 District 3 tournaments. He had 30 individual Lancaster-Lebanon League champions. He had 34 District 3 champions. He had 7 regional champions, and some of those were more than 1 year. He qualified 34 people for the PIAA state tournament. Out of those 34, he had 16 medalists. In 2001, Jude won, his team won rather, the LL League, the District 3, and they had 3 regional champions that year. No team has won that title since back in the 60s, or excuse me, the late 50s. I remember when Manheim Central won. In 2001, he was South Central Coach of the Year, and he was inducted into the Lancaster-Lebanon Hall of Fame in 2019. I would like to introduce Jude Bervinchek.
Thank you, Dan, for that very interesting introduction. You could have left a thing or two out, but thank you. But more so, thank you for being an advocate for Hempfield Wrestling over the last 20 years or more, and thank you for supporting me during my coaching tenure. Congratulations to all the other inductees here tonight, and thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for considering me worthy of this honor. My first thank you goes out to my family. I would like to thank my brothers and sisters for supporting me during my coaching career. You guys were always there, and you seem to enjoy being there. And of course, coming from a family of coaches, we would break down the match afterwards, and we would have our post-game or post-match discussion. Here tonight from my family is my sister Donna, my brothers Kevin and Greg. My one sister is on a vacation, and my other sister is doing what our family tends to do. She's coaching at this very moment. The next thank you goes to my 2 biggest fans, my mom and dad. They were at every football game, every baseball game, every wrestling match. So of course they would support me during my coaching career. And once again, they were at every match. My dad inspired me as a young athlete by telling me stories about Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and other sports heroes of the time. And those stories always seemed to have a lesson involved. My dad inspired me, pushed me, and guided me. My mom was always there with a loving pep talk when the going got tough. Later, when I started coaching, she sent me inspirational letters, and then she went on to send inspirational letters to my wrestlers, and she was truly part of the Hempfield wrestling family. My dad's here tonight. My mom's here in spirit. and I know she's looking down on me and glowing with pride. I would like to thank Ray Oberholzer. I didn't see him. Ray Oberholzer is the athletic director who hired me. I was a young buck, and I didn't have a lot of varsity experience, so I'm not sure how much of a chance he took on me, but I thank Ray Oberholzer for the chance that he gave me to coach varsity wrestling. I'd like to thank Steve Mumaw. Steve Mumaw and Ray Oberholzer were the coaches, or were the athletic directors during most of my coaching tenure, and I always felt like they had my back. And thank you to Bob Wilderson. It was always nice having him in my corner. Next, I would like to thank the parents of my wrestlers. I felt very fortunate to have coached in an era when the parents basically gave me their kids and let me coach them. I was very grateful for that. And my wrestlers, our wrestlers. Didn't matter if we had a strong team or a weak team. The constant in the wrestling room was always hard work. I still, to this day, can't believe how hard the athletes in our room worked for us. If I would ask them to run through the wall, I think they would have tried. And they wrestled with so much heart in the matches. I enjoyed leading our teams into battle, and I also just enjoyed hanging out with them at the all-day tournaments that we attended. I don't think anyone in this room will argue with me when I say Hempfield athletes are the best, and our Hempfield wrestlers were right up there. Next, I would like to quickly mention some men who helped build our program. All of these men that I am mentioning started on the ground floor. Sonny Mall, Rick Barnett, and Ken Schwerin jump-started the elementary program. Andy Banco did the same in junior high, and later my brother Greg joined him on the junior high staff. Scott Douglas, a longtime friend of mine, coached every year in my elementary program during my tenure, and he continued coaching after I retired. Other elementary coaches that I feel I should mention are Scott Harrison, Jeffrey Mall, and my brother Kevin. They were all there in the early days when we were building a program. At the varsity level, my first assistant was Steve Haldeman. He and I were the only two in the room. I kind of liked that. It was easy to keep everyone on the same page. Of course, those were the days when we lost 72 to -1. So not many volunteer coaches were getting in line to help us.
Got 1 minute, Chief.
Okay. I thought this was 7. Oh, okay. I'd like to thank Dave Kemick, and I guess I better jump to my final. I can't thank everyone, but okay. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my brother and co-coach, Greg. We didn't agree on everything in life, and we actually argue at times, but when it came to wrestling, we were on the same page. We agreed on what technique to show the wrestlers. We agreed on how much live wrestling we should do in a practice versus high-intensity drilling. And of course, we agreed on treating the kids with respect, coaching all kids, no matter what their ability level was. And we agreed on tapering off at the end of the year so our kids would be mentally and physically rested going into tournament time. We were in sync, but as much as we were in sync, my brother would see things that I didn't. And I'd scratch my head and say, how did I miss that? So I very much valued his unique perspective, his ideas, and his opinions. I thoroughly enjoyed coaching, I'd say about 10 years with my brother Greg, and for me, those were the best of times. So with no further ado and time running out, basically I am accepting this honor for the two of us. Thank you.
All right, so our next inductee will be Donald Forey, class of 1970, and Al Schuss, his soccer coach, will be making some remarks about him.
Don Forey is a unique individual. To prove this, I need to take you back to the thrilling days of yesteryear. In case you think you might have heard that before, it was the old introduction for the Lone Ranger when he was on TV and radio. But I only need to go back to 1970. Don Forey and Chuck Fessler became Hempfield's first athletes to earn 4 varsity letters in one school year. In his senior year, from the fall of 1969 to the spring of 1970, his blazing speed helped him star in soccer, basketball, and baseball. All those teams did well that year. The track team, under the direction of the late Del Warfel, was also doing well, but was a sprinter or two away from competing for the county championship. Then someone, don't ask me who, got the brilliant idea. The baseball team had 3 excellent sprinters. Why didn't the track team borrow those 3 sprinters for the day of the meet? So with the cooperation of baseball coach Harry Worth, the track team borrowed them for a few minutes each day. Don Forey, Chuck Fessler, who is here tonight, and the late Mike Rice briefly donned themselves in track uniforms on the days of track meets and helped the track team become the county champions that year. Without those 3, it wouldn't have happened. I won't say there was no controversy on the sports pages, because there was controversy, but the track team became the champion. By the way, Don also did some high jumping. It was a side skill of his. This guy wasn't just a great athlete, he's a legend. It's very interesting to look back on that time period. Until 1967, the student body, the entire student body from grades 7 through 12 was housed in the present high school building. I came to Hempfield in '65 and proceeded to teach 1/2 of the 8th grade English classes in 8th grade. Ron Colwell, that you might remember, taught the other half. With 6 grades in one building, things were tight. In 1967, Centerville Junior High opened, and the high school building lost 1/3 of its students. That was also the year Hempfield restarted soccer after about a 10-year hiatus, when it had been dropped because football had been started. And the powers that be then said we couldn't handle both. Ray Oberholzer had the privilege of playing on the last soccer team and the first football team, and he graduated in 1959. So this is 10 years later. Our first soccer field was nothing to brag about. It was about 3/4 of regulation size, and the field was used for phys ed classes all day long. To say there wasn't much grass was the understatement of the century. Now we're finally ready to talk about Don Forey. Today, he's a real estate agent and proudly lives in our area. If you need an agent, here he is. Today, we're introducing him as an old-timer. Frankly, I'm a little ashamed that we haven't already inducted him. He was one of the premier athletes of his day. In his senior year, he started and starred in soccer and baseball and was the 6th man on the basketball team. Yet somehow we missed him. That should never have happened. As far as I know, Don never played soccer until he was a sophomore and came out for the team. His skill level improved quickly, and even with no experience, he earned a starting spot. He always had great speed, and no one was more competitive. In soccer, fierce determination will help a player score many goals. Don met that requirement. By his senior year, he was a leading scorer on our team and earned the Ray Link Award as the outstanding player on the team. Before he comes forward to say a few words of his own, I'd like to say a couple things about him as a person. Many people in the audience may have been coaches. Once in a while, players like Don Forey come along. They come out for your team. And these players seem to understand the goals you desire, and they give their best effort to produce those goals. Every coach has memories of those players and will willingly recall the list if you ask. Try it if you don't believe me. I'm proud to say that Don Forey was my first great player. He had the support of his family, and I can still see his mother and father sitting in their lawn chairs, cheering him on. In fact, I'd like to use the words his dad might have used 55 years ago, and I'd like to respectfully say them in a way he might have said them. Come on up here, Dunny, and get your award. Mother and I are very proud of you, and I would like to add, so is the Hempfield community.
I'm not sure how you follow that, but I'll try. I'd like to thank the committee for considering me for the Hall of Fame and voting me in. It's a great honor. I'd also like to recognize my wife, who worked tirelessly to gather information, articles and clippings and so forth out of boxes. And I have my two sons here, Weston and Reagan, and Reagan's wife Fallon's here, and my first granddaughter, who's here also. She's 5 weeks old. Okay, growing up, grew up on a farm, West Hempfield. It's housing development now, if you're familiar with where Gingrich's car lot is. Our
There you go.
our farm sat right there in the corner of Farmdale Road and Marietta Avenue. And we always had something to do. Living on about 100 acres, you worked hard. A lot of times from morning to night. My path to the Hall of Fame started at Farmdale Elementary, where I played basketball. And back then, back in the day, your grade school played other grade schools. For example, our basketball team would have played Mountville, and we would have played Roarstown, Landisville, and East Pete. So all the kids on those teams, they were all your foes and all your competitors. And from Farmdale, we 4th or 5th grade, then we moved to Mountville. So then my career in basketball and baseball, midget baseball at Mountville, midget football at Mountville, played all those sports growing up all along. Then you reach 7th grade, and all those guys that you played against as competitors, now they're your teammates. Now they become your friends, and real camaraderie at Hempfield with that. And as I said, I was blessed with speed, and I was also blessed that I could jump. If I recall, I think I had about a 40-some inch vertical jump. Speed-wise, back in the day at Hempfield, you didn't have anything but what? 1 minute. You didn't have the all-weather tracks. You didn't have the fields that we have today. The campus is unbelievable as far as what it was back then. But track was, I got onto the track team because I was high jumping in gym class, and they thought they needed a high jumper. At that point, I also became a sprinter, won the 220 in the county, and was the anchor on the winning 880 relay team with Chuck, Mike Rice, and there was a 4th one in there. So I appreciate being voted into the Hall of Fame. It's a great honor, and thank you.
Our 3rd award winner is Sarah Helgeson, class of 2014, and Bill Bowers will be saying a few words about her.
Thank you, Mr. Maris. I'd like to change things up a little bit, because who wants to look at this 70-some-year-old face? So I'm going to ask Sarah to come up and stand beside me, because you'd much rather look at her than look at me. The other thing, they put many of Sarah's accomplishments on the screen, so I'm just going to add a few more so that I don't get a time to leave. Looking at, she has actually 3 very good sports. 2 of them, actually all 3 of them, she made states in, so it's not very often you get someone that can do that. And the 3rd one, she helped the team get to the state meet. Now, I'm going to start with field hockey because that's what she went to college on. But it was a toss-up whether it's track and field or field hockey. You can see the field hockey stats up there. But in addition to that, she captained the team in 2013 and led it to the semifinal finish at the state championships as a junior in 2012. She was also a bunch of letters, NFHCA, High School National Academic Scholar of Distinction. So she's a pretty smart lady. Moving on to, let me see what else I have here. Yeah, and I coached her in track, so I apologize that I don't know all of her stats in hockey. Moving on to track, in addition to what you see there, she holds 6 school records when she left here. She still holds 2 of them. And if you go down and you want to look at the field house side of the field house side, there's a record board, and you can see her name on 2 of them. In her sophomore year, freshman year is a learning experience. Sophomore year, she won every race she entered through the Lancaster-Lebanon League Championship. Now, stop to think about that. She's running at minimum of 3 races a meet for at least 10 meets, plus invitationals, et cetera, et cetera. In the Lancaster-Lebanon League meet, she won the 100 and the 200, both in school records. 4x400 relay, as old timers used to call it the mile relay, in a school record. She was second in the 400 in district, setting a school and league record, which stood, the league record in the 400 stood until 3 years ago. And then the other school had to import somebody from District 1 to break it. Her junior year, she won every race she entered, 100, 200, 400, 4x4 relay, until an injury ended her season, and she still ended up being the 2nd highest point scorer on the team. Her senior year, she won every race she entered, 100, and those of you who know anything about track can see this range, 100, 200, 400, 800, 4x4 relay. All the way through the league meet. Only in the league meet did she lose the 100, and that was a 2nd place instead of a win. She was a district champ in the 200 and 400. In state, she was 6th in the 200, 2nd in the 400. She was the Lancaster-Lebanon League Athlete of the Year. So upon graduation, she had won 7 league meet championships, 2 district championships, 2 second places at states, and held 6 school records. So she is one of the finest athletes that I ever had the privilege to coach, and I'm glad she could make it tonight. Sarah, it's all yours.
Thank you, Coach Bowers. Leading up to this, I've really been thinking about it, and ultimately I'm just deeply honored to be here. I feel I should be giving an award to the Hempfield High School community. I should not be receiving one because you've made me who I am today. The coaches, the teachers, the teammates, the parents, the siblings, the extended family, and so on. I am who I am because of you. But today I just want to give a special shout out to 3 groups in particular: my coaches, my siblings, and my parents. Sports were a huge part of my life here at Hempfield. I remember each win, I definitely remember each loss, but through all of that, what I remember more than all of those wins and losses were the lessons my coaches taught me. Coach Bowers, Coach Rogers, Coach Wolf, Coach Bradley, Coach Reif, Coach Young, Coach Bowe, every lesson you've ever taught me, I still remember. I remember the hard days made the great ones possible. Since you did a phenomenal job introducing me and I worked with you the past couple of weeks getting this nomination through, I just wanted to give a quick story about Coach Bowers as a coach. You hinted at a junior year injury, and not only did you push me every day at practice, but you were also there to catch me when I fell, quite literally. Junior year, it's districts, I had some hamstring issues, and my coach just thought, you should go for it. You can give it a go. I'm in the starting blocks. On your marks, get set, go. I take 2 steps and crumble. Pulled my hamstring immediately. As I'm lying on the track, I look up and I see Coach Bowers scaling not 1, but 2 fences, running onto the track to make sure I was okay. I was okay. You were there. You helped me up. You dusted me off, and we got right back to it in a couple of weeks. Thank you, Coach. The remarkable thing is I have a story like that for each one of my coaches. So I'm extremely grateful, not only to be receiving this award, but to be taking with me all of these life lessons. Next, my siblings. My older brother, Stu, who's here, and my younger sister, Sammy. Stu, you set the pace. I was chasing after you my whole entire 4 years in high school, even into college. And Sammy, you were following on my tails, and I knew if I slowed down for a second, you would pass me and you'd let everyone know that you passed me. You both have inspired me more than you'll ever know. And beyond just showing up and being big fans for me, you've taught me a world. I hope that I'm as good of a fan to you as you've been to me. And then last but not least, I need to thank my parents. Anyone who's been part of the sports community at Hempfield or at large knows it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of coordination. You both did all that without hesitation and for 3 kids. Thank you for doing that. And not only did you do that, you were the best and biggest fans. Mom, you made me the exact same meal before every single competition and game, and lunch. You didn't miss one for 4 years. I also inherited your superstitions, if you can't tell, from my routine-like behaviors. And Dad, you'd get so nervous sometimes before meets and competitions that you'd have to physically go for miles just to tire yourself out. I loved that because it reminded me how much you cared and how much you were rooting for me. Thank you.
So our next award winner, our inductee, is Jordan Kolb, class of 2005, and Kyle Weimer will be talking about him.
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to introduce Jordan Kolb, the class of 2005, into the Hempfield Hall of Fame. I remember Jordan as being the true captain of Hempfield lacrosse. His leadership both on the field and off the field was second to none. With Jordan leading the way, Hempfield reached unprecedented heights. We were able to compete against some of the very best teams in the country, and ultimately, in his senior year, advanced to the state championship game against a nationally ranked top 10 opponent, the Haverford Fords. Jordan's accomplishments speak for themselves. As a junior, he earned the prestigious honors of being a high school All-American, also a Section 1 first-team midfielder. Senior year, he went on to be the Central Pennsylvania Player of the Year, and again, Section 1 first-team midfielder. He cemented his reputation as one of the most complete and dominant players in the region. By the time he graduated, he had left his mark on the program, finishing as the all-time leading scoring midfielder, while also setting the standard at the face-off X with his outstanding winning percentage. Most impressively, though, was his skill set, but also was the person behind the helmet, which was even better. Jordan was a leader in every sense of the word. He was selfless, driven, committed, and very committed to the success of his teammates. He set the tone for what Hempfield lacrosse could become, and he inspired all those around him to rise to their best. On a personal note, I was fortunate enough to play with Jordan, and his impact reached beyond the stat sheets and the wins. He shaped the way I saw the game, as well as his other teammates, the way I approached competition, and the way I understood leadership. His example set a standard for me and our teammates, not only as players, but for us to be better teammates and better people. It is with immense pride and gratitude that we recognize all of his achievements today. Please join me in welcoming Jordan to the Hall of Fame, the captain, the leader, and one of the finest players to ever wear a Hempfield Black Knight uniform.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee as well for getting me here. I will try to be short and sweet. 5 minutes is not a lot of time to cover my high school career and accolades, so I want to give a lot of thank yous in this time. Pacer Sports and Hempfield Sports specifically, they made me who I am today. I truly believe that. It's not just the sport, but the people involved with the sports that really shaped me as an individual. When I think about some of the lessons I learned at Hempfield and the sports that I played, discipline, hard work, and integrity all come to mind. I learned them on the field, I learned them with my coaches, I learned them with my teammates. I wanted to take the time to thank the people in my sports career that really got me here and made me the person I am. Without them, I wouldn't be here, and I'm proud for the person that I've become with the Hempfield sports that I was able to play over my years. So to my high school football coaches, Coach Getz, Coach Heisey, Coach Furman, Coach Veland, and I'm sure all the other coaches that I missed. I played from D-team football up to varsity. You were a huge part of my career, huge part of making me the athlete I was. To my lacrosse coaches, Coach Piper, Coach Rich, who got me into lacrosse, and certainly Coach Bailey. Coach Bailey has a special place in my heart. I got to play for him for 4 years. He mentored me, he took care of me. He got me into Penn State and made sure I could keep my lacrosse career going. I was so thankful to get to know him, pleased to be a player, but even happier once I got to college. I was able to continue my lacrosse career with him coaching. So while I was in college, I coached for Blue Mountain Lacrosse. I got to learn not only how to play the game with him, but also how to coach the game. I'm very proud today that I'm still coaching sports. I got 4 kids in the Hempfield program, and I'm coaching girls lacrosse now. Excuse me. So now on to my teammates, many of which are great friends today. Really, my best friends are all kind of Hempfield athletes that I grew up with. It's great to have them in my community. It's great to be friends with them still today. So my football guys, Ish Keener, Pushkar, Funky, Mason, Mendez, Wengernovich, Callahan, Schumann, and of course Tom Rainey. Tom Rainey's not here with us anymore. He was taken away too soon, but I know he's looking down from up above. Hey, to my Lax bros, I had a lot of Lax guys that are still great friends of mine. Schweitzer, the Stauffer twins, Reese, Wango, the Rodas, Maverganis, Frankhauser, Manning, Zimmerman, Shook, Petey Humphreyville, Masix, and anyone else I missed, thank you too. Weimer, I didn't say your name for a reason. There's a special thank you to you. Hey, Weimer's a big reason why I'm here tonight. I know Weimer looked out for me. He got me here. Thank you, brother. Hey, next on the list is my parents. Never could have done it without my parents. Mom and Kevin, Dad and Tracy, thank you. Thank you for a lot. Had to take some notes to make sure I remember them. Thank you for the time that you put in to get me to sports. Thank you for the money that you spent to buy all my lacrosse gear. Thank you for the rides. Thank you for the travel. Thank you for doing all my dirty laundry, Mom. Thank you for the pregame meals. Thank you for the sacrifices you made to make my career go well. Thank you. Last and certainly not least, I met my wife in high school. Casey's sitting here with me tonight. I am so thankful she didn't have a prom date our senior year. Casey didn't have a prom date our senior year, and I was lucky enough to ask her one night, and she said yes, and we've been dating ever since. Casey was there through me in my high school career. We went late to senior week because we had a state championship lacrosse game to go to. My wife is my rock. I love her to death. She is everything to me. So, thank you so much.
So one other note, at the end of the ceremony, Kelly Burkholder, our communications director, would like both teams to come out in the lobby. Kelly's in the back, waving her hand. After we're done here, if you could, each team, get out in the lobby. She wants to get a photo of each team. Our next individual inductee is Sean Sangri from the class of 2008, a star volleyball player, and Mike Vogel will be introducing him.
Hey, thank you, Jeff Bradley and Charlie Maris and the committee members for selecting Sean. Congratulations to all inductees, especially Jude. When I come into practice, I would talk with Jude, we talk about parents, and we talk about players and philosophy, coaching philosophy. So there you go, Jude. And Don Forey. 55 years ago, Don, it's hard to believe. He was an incredible athlete, and I was just so proud to watch him play all those sports back in 68, 69, and maybe even 70. Okay. I'm honored to introduce Sean to the Hempfield Sports Hall of Fame. How good was Sean? Well, Sean was only one of 2 Hempfield volleyball players that started every single match from his freshman year to his senior year. There's another player, I'm not going to mention his name, but he also went on to play at Penn State. So that's the quality of players that's the quality of player that Sean was. He began his volleyball career as a freshman in 2005 and helped the team advance to the LA League playoffs and the District 3 tournament. In 2006 as a sophomore, Sean contributed to Hempfield's success with second place finish in the LA League championship versus LMH, who was ranked number 1 in the state at the time. Hempfield then upset favored Northeastern for the District 3 title before claiming the state title over Fox Chapel. Please note, this was the last true PA state championship in 2006. After that, they split, so then they have multiple classifications. So he was part of the last true state championship. That year, he led the team with 405 kills, 67 blocks, and 42 aces. He was also named to numerous all-star teams. I'm not going to mention them. In 2007, as a junior, Sean again contributed to Hempfield's success with a league title over Penn Manor, winning in 4 games, and a district title over Cumberland Valley, winning in 4 games, and the state championship with a win over Pennsbury, where we swept them. Again, Sean led the team with 547 kills and 70 aces and was named to numerous all-star teams. His senior year, in 2008, he led Hempfield to the league title over Conestoga Valley, a runner-up finish in the District 3 championship against Cumberland Valley, and a Final Four finish at States, losing to Central York in the semifinals. Sean led the team with 846 kills, 92 blocks, and 113 aces. Again, he was named to numerous all-star teams. He was selected as the Lancaster Newspaper Volleyball Player of the Year. He was also selected as the 2008 State Tournament MVP, which is unusual if your team doesn't win the state title. His performance in pool play against North Allegheny and Pennsbury was unreal. He didn't make an offensive error and advanced to the semifinal, where his high school career ended, but Ohio State noticed his potential and offered him a scholarship, where he played for 4 years and led the Buckeyes to the NC D1 volleyball championship over UC Santa Barbara in 2011. Ohio State won the championship on the same court at Rec Hall, where Sean Sangre helped Hempfield win back-to-back state titles in 2006 and 2007. What was Sean like as a player? Well, he was tall. He was left-handed, had a fast arm, and he could jump. Maybe not as high as Don, but he could jump. He played the opposite position, but in volleyball, which is you're attacking from the right side of the court. He could score points everywhere and had a devastating serve and an intimidating block. His senior year, Sean was set virtually every ball. We didn't have anybody else that could score points, so Sean was set every ball. Front row, back row. He never made mistakes. He was set so often during matches that he wasn't allowed to swing at practice. He would have to do all the other stuff that we would do at a volleyball practice. During a match in 2008, he knocked a player out with his swing. That isn't common in volleyball. He never showed any emotion. On some occasions, I would ask him if he was having fun, and he would answer, "Yes, Mr. Vogel, I'm having fun." You know, I thought he'd make a great poker player after this because he never showed any type of emotion at all. It was just business the whole time. He always worked hard. He was extremely coachable, and he'd always be helping his teammates. He was a great athlete, and he is one of the best athletes to ever graduate from Hempfield. And I'm pleased that he decided to play volleyball instead of basketball or soccer. He really made my job easy. Sean Sangre was the best boys volleyball player ever to come out of Hempfield. Congratulations, Sean.
You're a big reason why I'm up here tonight. So I also want to thank the committee for this award. Very grateful, just extremely grateful to be up here tonight. With all the other inductees, I'm honored to be standing up here with all of you and accepting this award, and congratulations to each one of you and your teams as well. I want to start by thanking God for putting volleyball in my life. It was a huge part of my life for about 13 years, and none of this would have been possible without him. When I first found out I was being inducted, I immediately started thinking about all the people that had a positive impact in my life and in my career. And those people are who I want to talk about the next couple minutes, because I wouldn't be up here tonight if it wasn't for them. First, I want to thank my coaches. Coach Vogel, like I said, it was a big reason I'm here. I'm just so thankful for teaching me the sport, believing in me, and pushing me to be the best that I could be. The amount of time and effort and dedication you put into the volleyball program here at Hempfield for, I think, 30 or 31 years, it's incredible, and I was just proud that I could be part of that for 4 years. There's a lot of other coaches I want to thank. I could go on and on, but I want to highlight Tim and Pat Schwarn, Jesse Perica, and Randy Paulus for a big impact in my career here at Hempfield as well. There's many others, and I'm thankful for each one of them. I'm thankful for them for teaching me the sport, but probably more important, the values that they instilled in us as players and the life lessons that they taught, because that has gone beyond 4 years at Hempfield. That has gone through this day. I'm still keeping that in my memory. I also want to thank my teammates. I was fortunate enough to be on some great teams with a lot of great players. We brought the best out of each other each and every day. And I view this induction, this award, as more of a team award. I was successful because my teammates were successful, and we were successful because our coaches put us in positions to be successful, and it was a true team effort. Next, I want to thank the volleyball alumni, the former players that set the standard and set the bar extremely high. Many would come back, practice against us, coach us, and they were happy to put us in our place at times and beat up on us in practice. But that's how we got better, and we loved it. Finally, I want to thank the people nearest and dearest to my heart. Sorry. My family, my aunts and uncles, my cousins. Sorry, I didn't know how emotional I would be tonight. My sisters, my mom. Mom, you're one of the most loving and selfless people I know. And I wish Dad was here. You sacrificed so much for us 3 kids. And I can't thank you enough, so thank you. I also want to thank my wife, Abby, for all the support and sacrifices that she made during my college and professional career, as I was still able to continue chasing my dream. Mom, Jim, and Sue, thank you for supporting me during those years as well. Volleyball was a big part of my life for 13 years, and you can tell with the tears coming out of my eyes that it meant a lot to me. It gave me a chance to compete, to have fun, build relationships, friendships, earn a college degree, and so much more. But it all started here at Hempfield, and I'm forever grateful. So thank you.
And inducted is the basketball team from 98-99, and Warren Goodling's going to say a couple words for them.
Good evening, and thank you for the committee to have our basketball team, the 98-99 team, inducted in the Hall of Fame. Incredible group of athletes and young men. So I'm going to start out, I want to get my assistant coaches up here first, and then our team, and I'm just going to read their names, and they're going to come on up, because this is certainly a team effort, and we had so much fun that season. But it was a team effort, and we constantly are talking about this team. Even today, all the time, we talk about this team. So Coach Brown, Coach Herr, Coach Raylin, Coach Bellew, can you come on up here, please? Come on up. And then our players on our team, Jared DeBoard, Sam Minder, Adam Brown, Keith Gerber, Matt Gerke, Greg Bernhardt, Justin Moyer, Leroy McQueen, Ryan Wisniewski, Darren Presley, Jeremy DeBoard, Ryan Butt, Austin Ellis, Johnny Wilson. Come on up, guys. So, our first coaches meeting, we wanted to check some boxes. Do we have ball handlers? Check. Do we have shooters? Check. Do we have speed? Check. Do we have guys that can jump? Check. Do we have size? Check. Everything was a check, okay? So looking around this, it was incredible that we had all these things. So we knew we had a chance. So we started out the season winning some games, and then our first big test was against Chester on a Saturday afternoon. We had a triple header. We had some of the top teams that stayed at Hempfield, and they had Jameer Nelson, who played 12 years in the NBA, and say, well, this is a good time to take a loss because Chester's like the top team in District 1. Well, we beat them that game. Okay, we came in at halftime. Darren hit a shot on a Buffalo Bobby play called Buffalo Darren, and we come in the locker room, and our guys said, we can win this game. I didn't have to say anything else, and they went out and won the game. Okay, so that was awesome. And then our next big test, other than playing McCaskey 4 times, was against Roman Catholic, and they had the #1 player in the country, and Eddie Griffith, who from Roman Catholic played at Seton Hall, went right to the NBA. And we went to scout them. Our coaches went to scout them on a Sunday, and we watched the team play, and we said, yeah, they're pretty good. And when we left the gym, this announcer at Roman Catholic said, our next game next week on Sunday at Lehigh University is against Hempfield Christian School. Tom Herr says, we got a chance now. We have a chance. So I don't know if I told him, I think I told him that, but anyways, just a couple things. And you know, the other highlights was we played McCaskey 4 times, and they were loaded with Jerry Johnson, Perry Patterson. They had, they had Chris Wilson played in the NFL. They were just loaded, and we sort of frustrated them. We beat them 4 straight times, which is hard to do, and that was an incredible thing. And we were really proud to win those games. And there's so much mutual respect between those 2 teams. I see guys from McCaskey now, and they give me a big hug and talk about all you guys. Just great memories. Our crowds, our fans at those games were incredible. Support from the administration and the student body was incredible. So it was just, we wanted to give these guys a great experience in high school. We had a mission statement, and we talked about the obligations and the responsibilities about being on a team and the life lessons that that it learned. I'm very proud of these guys for the men that they become right now. That's what I'm really proud of. The other thing people don't notice that year, we won the section, we won the league title. We played Harrisburg at Hershey in the District 3 final, which we lost the tough game. It was the largest crowd ever at the Hershey Arena for any event. It was unbelievable. We sold so many tickets to the school. Guys would call me up, do we have any tickets? I have no tickets. Scalp the tickets. Get in any way you can. Back door, we'll let you in the back door at 11:30 in the morning. But it was incredible. It was just incredible, and these guys will never forget that game. The other thing I'm really proud of these guys, that they were all great players, and they played together. But that year, we won the Lancaster Lebanon League Sportsmanship Award. And Coach Brown would always tell me, we don't want to win sportsmanship, Ron. That means we're not any good. Okay? He would tell me that all the time. We won the Sportsmanship Award because these guys not only won, but they were a class act. We had so much fun. I was so proud of them and extremely proud of them today. We're going to have two of them come up and talk, our two captains that year, Johnny Wilson and Ryan Budd, will say a few words.
All right. I guess I'll feed you another assist, big fella. First and foremost, just about our experience as high school basketball players was top-notch. By far, given the most of probably any of the players and athletes around this area, we had the freshest gear. We looked good. The freshest gear, the best practices. You talk about competition, we'd come in and it was just competitive. Every practice was just competitive. From our younger guys, Gerber, Moyer, they'd always push us, and then to our older guys and guys in between, the competitive greatness that Coach taught us really came through at practice. We had a phenomenal coaching staff. Pros, Division I level basketball players, and it kind of resonated in how we played. And we couldn't be more grateful for the people that were put in place to coach us. And then outside of that, our youth basketball program coming up, it's hard to find a foundational program that really builds from the ground up, and we had that from the time we were probably in second, third grade, right? And then our coaches cultivated that and really brought us to the forefront of the Lancaster Lebanon League and even the state. I think we ended up finishing fourth, and I don't know that we made the semifinals. So that's, hats off to you guys, hats off to our community, administrators. We really, really appreciate everything that you did for us. And, we love you guys.
Yeah, I think they stole a lot of my thunder here, but let's say thank you and congratulations to the coaches. Like Johnny said, they were probably the best coaching staff, bar none here, at least in the Lancaster Lebanon League, if not in the state and around. They really believed in us. They pushed us. Just a couple of stories that kind of stood out to me. We go into the winter breaks. We always knew that there was going to be some extra conditioning, and Coach always had some crazy ideas. We knew that when he would go over to the closet, we weren't sure what he was going to pull out. But I do remember he opened the closet one time and he brought out these bricks that were covered in duct tape. We were, what are we doing with bricks? Well, sure enough, we did defensive slides, the entire court holding 2 bricks, the entire team. And it was things like that where he was willing to do things outside the box to push us and challenge us. That resonated with us, and obviously that came through with how well we did. There's a note in the program about a couple of our big ones against Chester and Roman Catholic. I remember before the Roman Catholic game, they had a player by the name of Eddie Griffin, who was a future NBA player. Was 6'8", a little bit taller, probably a little bit more athletic than me. Was averaging over 30 points a game. I remember Coach Goodley and Coach Brown called me in and looked at me and said, well, we want to talk about who you're guarding this game. Well, Johnny was our best defender probably, had good size, figure in my head, hey, he's going to guard Eddie Griffin. They look at me and say, we're going to have you guard Eddie. We're not overly concerned with how many points he's going to score. We want to make sure that nobody else on their team hurts us. Well, thanks, Coach. That's a boost of confidence here. Well, it worked out, right? Guys on our team stepped up, rose to the challenge. We ended up winning that game. We had a phenomenal experience. So, again, they challenged us in different ways, so I appreciated their time and effort. We had a lot of one-on-one full court games. If you ever played one-on-one full court, those games are brutal. Coach Goodley and Coach Brown routinely kicked our butts every time we played. They always, again, challenge us in all those different ways. I want to say thank you, congratulations to my teammates. You guys were one of a kind. I think from our open gyms, summer leagues, obviously to the in-season, we all challenge each other, very competitive. I'd argue that some of our practices might have been some of the best games in the LL League. We really had so much depth on our team. We had college players coming off the bench that challenged the starters. You don't see that every day. So I just know that we really complemented each other well. We had so many great athletes that were phenomenal football players, baseball players, track athletes. We just brought so much to the table. Such a great experience for our community. I know how well our fans traveled. When we played McCaskey, our gyms were sold out. We see some of the films down there that are posted on YouTube, and you look at the crowds and just how amazing that was. And for us to experience that as high school players was just a phenomenal experience. Going through playing at Hershey Park Arena multiple times made us feel like NBA players, and we got to experience that several times. And like Coach said, selling out the arena there when we played Harrisburg. It was just such a great experience, and it's hard to believe it's been 27 years already, but it's great seeing everybody back here, and that we get the opportunity to kind of share in this honor, and just so thankful that we had that time together, coaches and players, and just want to thank everybody. Thank you.
Congratulations, 98-99 basketball team, and I apologize, we're short a couple plaques. On the registration form is my cell number. I think we were short one player, and any coach, please just text me. We'll get that taken care of. So our last but not least, our team is a girls tennis team of 2007, and I believe Whit Evans, one of their coaches, is coming up to say a couple remarks.
Good evening and congratulations to the previous inductees on their honor going into the Hall of Fame tonight. I am so proud to be here tonight to honor the girls 07 team for their magical run to the PIAA state finals as they are inducted into the Hall of Fame this evening. One of my favorite quotes in life is, "It's the journey and not just the destination." My wife and two stepdaughters cannot stand when I say that all the time, but it is just so true. Our journey actually began mid-August. We would do two-a-days. In the morning, we would have practices, do drills, stroke production, and one of the favorite drills was called the Ring of Fire. One of the girls brought a boombox, so we had Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire playing. The girls were in a circle, and it was a handling touch drill where they were volleying up, and we would see if we could go completely around the whole team. If we messed up at number 9, then we would start over again, and then we would do elimination. Whoever won that didn't have to pick up balls the next day, just trying to make it interesting, for them. Challenge matches in the afternoon. The girls loved playing them. The parents hated playing them. There were a lot of tears out in the parking lot. It wasn't the kids, it was the coaches and the parents that I think that were crying after that. They would be playing against their future doubles partners. They would be playing against their best friends, best enemies maybe. And then I'd have to call the Pipkins up and say to Jen and Wilson that the girls are playing their challenge matches tomorrow, so just be prepared on how that would fall. Throughout the season, they had targets. They had bullseyes on their backs because we were in the middle of a pretty good run. These girls, the senior girls here, 4 consecutive Lancaster 11 League team championships, 4 District 3 championships, and then a couple rounds into the states. So everybody was out looking to knock us off, especially that small school up in Nestville. I think they're playing football over here tonight. That was always our biggest game. We would get the schedule, we would circle that date. The girls would get together and do tie-dye t-shirts in preparation, for the game. Oh, by the way, we won that year 4-3 too over them. So, and that was tough because Coach Pennington, I've known Doug for like 40 years, so it was a little bit of a friendly rivalry there. Then we went on to districts and won 3 rounds of districts, qualifying for states. First round in states, we beat a tough Lower Marion team out of suburban Philly, 3-2. Quarters, we beat North Allegheny, also 3-2. And then the semifinal match was probably had the most stress. And Sydney Clark at number 2 doubles. The match came down to her match. We were up at Hershey Racket Club. Everyone was gathered over right around that one court. Sid was cool as a cucumber and pulled it out as she always did too. After the weigh matches, Marianne, the bus driver, was told to drive around the fields, and the girls would stick their head out and sing the Hempfield fight song. That was after Andrew, our team manager, led the girls in ABBA, I think singing Dancing Queen, and what was the other one then, Madison? Lip Gloss. I don't know. Welcome to my life right there. Several of the girls went on and played at the state and collegiate level. Lauren Hankel played at Youngstown State, Sydney Clark at Columbia University, Madison Pipkin, E-Town College, Hannah Pipkin, Kutztown College, Sarah Brookhart at Messiah. And as far as we can tell, this is the only team that has been the Lancaster Lebanon AAA girls team to make it to the state finals. Speaking of state finals, if I could find it here, we ended up playing Shadyside in the finals. Now, they had not dropped a match the entire state tournament, and did a little research, and I think in about an 8 or 9 year span, they had a dynasty where they went 86-3, during that period. So we definitely, took a thump in there, but I was just, so proud of the girls. Lastly, I've got to mention, if I can find it on the right card here, Coach Jeff. Cannot say enough about having Jeff Clark as my assistant coach. His passion for the game, his amazing skills playing. We would end most practices playing king, queen of the court, and whoever ended up on the same side as Jeff were usually the winners. But I know he definitely had an impact on the girls, and there's no way we would have had success without Coach Jeff. So thank you, Jeff, very, very much. And in closing, just thanking the parents for putting up with many runs up to Fromoose if a racket needed to be restrung, or just helping out as they did all year long. And lastly, and I better not forget this one, I want to thank my wife Christy. She's in the back with our 2 grandkids, and thank her for her love and support. There she is over there, love and support. 4 or 5 months of not knowing when dinner was going to be and putting up with a crazy schedule, but it was worth it with the girls. So just to real quickly introduce the team, Lauren Hankel, Sydney Clark, Chelsea Axe, Hannah Pipkin, Madison Pipkin, Kate Murphy, Sarah Over, Christine Mavroganis, Sarah Brookhart, Kirsten Dussinger, and of course Coach Jeff. Thank you guys for a magical run.
Well, good evening. It's a little tall for me. On behalf of the entire 2000 Hempfield girls tennis team, we wanted to change it a little bit and take a moment to honor our coach, Whit Evans. We know that one of the biggest reasons we're standing here today, being recognized with this honor, is because of the kind of coach and leader Whit was for us. I feel particularly lucky because my time getting to know Whit was long before he ever became our coach. Whit and his wife, Christy, met years before as next-door neighbors, in 1995 to be exact. And I had the honor of getting to know Whit during my childhood because my best friend just happened to be Christy's daughter. Even then, Whit always had such a calming presence and the exact kind of presence you wanted around loud and rather dramatic teenage girls. So when Whit stepped in as head coach in 2006, it was a great fit for our team. And he guided us to the state semis that year, and by 2007, we were determined to go a bit further. Whit had the perfect balance of steady and support, and he always let us enjoy ourselves. Like Whit mentioned, we talked as a team before this, and some of our favorite memories aren't just winning the matches, which we did a lot of, but the bus rides back to the school, windows down, singing the Hempfield fight song at the top of our lungs. Whit let us be teenagers while always reminding us to carry ourselves with pride. So the team was really strong in 2007 with some new approaches that made us really tough. And even though we did not take the win and the state title, Whit never let that defeat define us. He was there cheering us on. So through it all, Whit set the tone with his words. They believe in themselves and have an awful lot of confidence. They are a classy bunch of girls, and we can hold our heads high. I am so proud of them. These were a few quotes that Whit gave the local papers that I dug up from all those years ago. And you'd never know that some of those statements were after major losses. And despite that, look how positive he was. But that was Whit, steady, lifting us up, and reminding us that winning's great, but how we carried ourselves mattered more. So as a teacher, coach, and mentor, I just want to mention he has won numerous awards. He led the well-known Summer ACES program and assisted in Special Olympics. So to say the least, he's given a lifetime to others, and the team was extremely fortunate for that leadership all those years ago. So I will close with one of my favorite Whit traditions. Before a big match, especially in the playoffs, he'd say, "All right, ladies, we're gonna take 5. And what he meant by that was simple. He wanted us to win with a sweep with all 5 matches. And for those who don't know, in the playoffs, tennis consisted of 5 courts, and a team needed to win at least 3 to advance, but Whit wanted us to take all 5. And then he would come over to each one of us and hand us a Take 5 candy bar. So tonight, we have one for you. We love you, we thank you, and thank you for everything you have done for us and this community. We also want to thank our families because the most important part of the tennis matches were the snacks, and they delivered on that, so we truly thank all of our loved ones as well. But thank you, Whit.